You're watching Action News Now. Storm Tracker weather. Coverage you can count on.
Before we get to our full forecast, we have an important item to share with residents in Reading. You may notice a large vertical flame on Monday and Tuesday as Campora Propane conducts a flaring operation at its facility on West Side Road. The flaring operation, scheduled between 7 in the morning and 5 in the evening, is a standard practice in the propane industry. Skilled propane technicians will oversee the process during both days. The Reading Fire Department has clarified that this will not be a fire department operation, but urges residents not to call 911 to report the flame from the flaring operation. Here's a look today from the Hammond Ranch Alert wildfire camera in Siskiyou County. Nice clear skies with a few interesting clouds around the peak of Mount Shasta. Sade with the day off, but no worries because Howie took time out of his weekend to provide us a full forecast. Howie.
Anytime, Jerry, anytime. With those clouds, as much as they're getting forced up there, didn't look like they were taking on a lot more moisture in terms of developing beyond that into some storms. We were on the drier side today after really a crazy week of severe weather, severe thunderstorms, hail, rain, and flooding. I think we're getting a little bit of a break. I think we're going to keep it that way, and to my liking, and probably a lot of people's likings that are vacationing up there in the mountains. But we were held today under 100 degrees. Don't worry, we're going to get back to it, but Reading topping out at 97, 95 for Oroville and Corning. Red Bluff at 94, Willows 93, same as Chico, and Paradise, look at that, not even getting into the 90s today, topping out at 89 degrees. Okay, here's what we have overnight, dropping down into the low 60s for the valley. Very much on the comfortable, even the cool side when you get up there to Bernie at 55, Chester dropping to 51. Way up there now, Cheers, look at that, dropping into the 40s. That's even too cool for my liking, especially this time of year. Okay, here's what we have tomorrow. On average, we should be about 95, 98. So for the most part, below average overall, especially in the valley. Temperatures staying in the 90s, again, on the warm to hot side, but we're going to heat up again. Don't worry about that. Okay, if you're up there in Chester, only a high of 83. Up there in Paradise, 86 degrees. So yes, overall, on the cooler side in Northern California tomorrow. Here's our future cast. We were pretty slow today on Sunday. Here's what we have for Monday for storm development as I move the timeline. Okay, Monday afternoon. This is about what the time, 4 o'clock, when they start to fire up. You start to see the development, eventually thunderstorms. Looking pretty good. Why is that? Now, high pressure to the west, going to start heading our way. High pressure that's already kind of off towards the east will pull back, but this is Monday. High pressure kind of spread a little bit away from us, so we're seeing a little bit of a drop in those temperatures. But as we move the timeline, here's Tuesday. Now we're getting closer to Wednesday. High pressure kind of closing the gap on us, getting closer to Northern California, and with that, we're going to start to see warmer temperatures. That should slow down the delta breeze with that cooler ocean moist air. Now, as we see a little bit of a drop in the jet stream, okay, it's going to come close, but not close enough to be the dominant weather feature in the area, but it will maybe start to allow for breezier conditions interacting with the high. But really, high pressure is going to be in control. And what does that mean? I'll show you right here. A little cool Monday, Tuesday, but look what happens by the middle of the week. We jump up there, we start to go above average, and we're going to be flirting with the 105s after really struggling to get up to 100 all last week and just a little bit this week. So we know it's August, Jerry. We're not going to hold those temperatures up very long.
All right. Thanks so much, Howie.